Hey guys, Monique Leslie, Misfit Crafter here. Today I'm going to bring you a book dismantling, so I'm just gathering up all my supplies, including some breakfast. So we're going to do a quick breakfast and then we are going to get started taking apart this book. It becomes a little difficult to take apart here and there, so I'm really glad that I decided to eat first. It took a while longer than I thought it was going to, but don't worry, we sped this up quite a bit so you didn't have to sit through the entire thing while I was taking this apart. Just a little coffee to start my day with as well. I actually did this yesterday, so I'm re-recording a voiceover because it was quite noisy yesterday. Just a little iced coffee for the morning. A little too much cream there, but still good. Alright, so let's get started. So just a few tools that I gathered, a spatula and then just a couple of cutting knives, one pin type of one and just another like X-Acto type knife or box cutter. So first thing we're going to do is just take off that price label. Got it for $2 at Desert Industries, which is just a thrift shop. It's kind of like a chain thrift shop, I believe. I'm not sure if they have them in other places. Pretty sure they probably do. But I'm out in Vegas and we have a couple of them and they're pretty big. Kind of regretting that I didn't get more of these. This is called The Green Kingdom by Childcraft. It's a textbook, and what drove me to it was all of these really cool illustrations on the cover. And I thumbed through it really quickly while I was at the thrift shop. I got it a little while ago. But I was going to start another junk journal soon, and I thought, oh wait, I know a book that I can use, and sure enough, this was perfect. After looking through it just a little bit more, you can see all the illustrations are really nice and pretty. There's like cute poems in there and everything, so I was able to match this perfect with the junk journal that I want to make next. And just a close-up of that poem. And just doing a quick thumb through so you can see what the book is all about. It seems to be a bit of a science book, but with stories and really cute illustrations. I really like all the season change on this one. You can see a really cute little spider's web right here. So if you could use full pages for junk journals or pieces of it and cut out areas, thought this makes such cute pockets and things. And all the illustrations are just a little bit different, so it's kind of neat. You have some illustrations, you have photos. It's like someone already got to the book here and cut out something, probably for a school project. Thought this was kind of neat. Looked like paper piecing together to make this illustration. Alright, so loving this book a lot. I mean, there's so much in here, so just a quick flip through and then we are going to get started. And right away when I was just thumbing through it, I thought of all these ideas of what I could do with a lot of these bits. There's so many cool illustrations. I figured too, a lot of the ones that I really like, I'm going to go ahead and scan them in on my computer so that if I ever want to print them again and use them on something else, I can. Alright, so we are going to get started taking this apart, so I'm just kind of giving it a good look over, figure out how I'm going to get this off. Usually I'll just use a blade to remove the book in the spine, or the spine area from the cover, or the insides of the book from the cover. So we're going to go ahead and just get the X-Acto and we're going to slice down the cover area. more like a box cutter, by the way, not an X-Acto. It's got a little more strength than an X-Acto for me, to really get in there. And I kept hitting something and I wasn't quite sure what I was hitting. And this is when I figured, oh, this is a little tougher than I thought, and discovered, ooh, there are staples in here. Didn't think too much of it quite yet because I wasn't sure how hard this was going to be yet. So right here I'm just taking my spatula just to cut down on that spine. And then we're going to go ahead and just take off the other side. See, it's really in there. They really did not want this book to come apart. You can see right there, I'm really trying to break in there and figure out what's going on. And what it seems like is that they glued over the staple areas just a bit, or the glue must have pushed out, because this glue is really on there. So it took a little more effort to get that cover off. Usually it's not too hard to get a cover off a book. This one did take a little extra maneuvering, and I'm pushing pretty hard. It looks like I'm pushing kind of gently, but I'm pushing pretty hard trying to get it off, but at the same time trying not to break the spine or anything off. So I'm just cutting down just to try to get that last bit off now. Alright, so we've got the book out from the spine. So I'm going to put that aside because I can make it into a junk journal later on. Probably do a little cleaning up of it. Alright, so now I'm going to try to get those staples out. So this is where I find out this is going to take me a minute. So I'm gathering a couple of tools to try to see about being able to get in there a little bit better. So I grabbed my needle nose little pliers here, my curved nose pliers, to see if I could just yank those up, just to give them a good test. So turn it over so I can go ahead and just pull up the prongs on the staples. Here is where I find out this is gonna be tougher than I thought. Those guys were not budging. Not even a little bit. They're really in there. They're really, really thick steel metal. And even after taking them out, I can't even bend them by hand. That's how tough they are. Alright, so I'm going to speed this up because it does take me a while to get these guys off. So I sped this up a lot. I think I sped this up about 7 times, and that's how long it really took me to get these out. I went ahead and just pulled up everything I could using an extra tool. I grabbed all the tools. For some reason I didn't have a flathead, so it was making it a little harder to find my flathead screwdriver anywhere. And there was glue also stuck in some of the parts of the spine really close to the staples or on the staples. So right here, decided to sacrifice a few pages because I really like to be able to pull out an entire signature so that I'm able to have both sides of the paper usable, so that if I want to make a bigger book, it has a fold in it. But I decided to go ahead and sacrifice a few pages. Got out my heat tool to try to get off some of that glue from the paper that I was able to take off. And this, unfortunately, this was my heat gun's last video because it all of a sudden went out on me, and as of this morning still would not turn back on. So like I said, I did this video yesterday and I'm going to post over the next day just because this took a bit longer than I thought it was going to take. apart this entire book and get those staples out of there. Again, heat gun, just try to get some of that glue moving so that we're able to get those out a little easier. And I'm just heating up all the glue so that I can kind of like dig it out. I kind of had to start digging it out from under the staples and from the edge of it to be able to get this thing to move. You see me pulling out little pieces, and I can see it is all over the table. There's like pieces of paper and stuff. Those were like the parts that I kind of was digging out, where the glue was like really in there. Just trying to get it pulled up just enough so I can get some leverage in there to lift those up. Because by this point I had already pulled all the prongs up, so I was just trying to pull them out from the other side now. And this one was, they were all being a little difficult. I guess it really wasn't just one. And that was the guy that finally got me under there. Now I am just yanking this pretty good to try to get this out. Finally got that guy out of there. It's the last one. Alright, so we're just going to do a quick cleanup so that we can go ahead and get going. And like magic, we're all clean. We're just going to take a sip of that coffee one more time. And by this point, it probably had been already about a good 20 minutes or more, just trying to get those guys up. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and take off all the parts from the spine, the strip that holds it all together, and all the glue as much as possible. So here I'm just hitting up the spine, and then we're going to go ahead and take that spatula so that we can try to pull as much of this off. And like I said, there was a lot of glue on this, so this took me a little longer than I thought as well, because it did not come off as easy as most of them do. If I'm really lucky, every once in a while, if I get one, I usually can just heat it up and then just in one fell swoop, I just peel off the entire bit of glue. That was not the case with this one. Once I was doing it in small batches and got it heated up enough, so I had to leave it, the heat tool blowing on it for kind of a bit longer than I'm used to, and I think that might be what finally like killed the heat tool. So I was heating it up really close, and usually I don't get this close because I'm afraid to burn the paper, but it seemed like it was the perfect amount. Right here I'm just peeling off the last bits, and you can kind of see the pages start to spread out now, especially on the ends. You can see as I start to scrape, it's spreading on that end a little more now. It's finally releasing all of the signatures. I'm just giving it some final scrapes just to pull off as much of the extra glue as possible. Just doing a cleanup of it. And I heated up the front part of this just a little bit because there was some big glue drops that had fallen onto it and gotten stuck, so I was just kind of yanking that off. Right, one more quick cleanup of all this. And it's really stuck on that spatula. I'm gonna have to heat up that spatula later. The one thing with the glue is every time I would do it, it would dry fast. Yeah, here I split the nail trying to get this stuff off. But the glue seemed to cool down really fast and set again, so the time I warmed it up, it was really quick to just set again. So right here I'm just going to start pulling apart some of the signatures, see what I've got now once I've taken off as much glue as possible. Set aside some of the extra bits that we're not going to need. to deal with just for now. And right here, like I said, I'm just trying to find the signatures right now. And you can kind of see, I was just trying to lay it flat, just get an idea of how big the papers were and if they were truly printed, you know, right and a left side. And I finally found a center. So here's one of the center ones. Thought it was really cool, some of the topics. But if you can kind of see it, where it kind of looks like there's dashes in the spine. So I figured out what they did was they cut holes in the centers of each of the pages, and you can kind of see the dash kind of on the tops and the bottoms right there where I'm showing you. And what they did was like fill that area with glue so it kind of seeped through a little bit more, which is why these pages were so really in there. And then they stapled it on top of it all, and then more glue with a strip, and that is where my heat tool died. And like I said, so far to never come back. Usually it will go out, like any heat tool will get a little overheated, and you just have to let it cool off, and then usually it'll start working again after it cools off a bit. So I thought, okay, well, let me see what I can just pull apart on my own. If I can at least get the signatures out. Usually that's a little easier since it's more pieces of paper. I just thought this was kind of cool with the dragon. And again, really cool subjects, an Indian medicine plant. And I'll show you the junk journal that I'm working on, just some of the pages a little at the end of the video. You'll see why this is like perfect for it. And again, trying it out, still not cooled off enough. Then I remembered, oh, let me go get my other heat gun. So I'll be right back. Alright, so grab my other heat gun. We're just gonna plug this guy in, and we're gonna use this one while the other one cools off, so I thought. Alright, so now that it's all plugged in, we're going to go ahead and get started again. That one's still not turning on. But we're going to go ahead and just use this heat gun instead. And this one wasn't my favorite heat gun, because as soon as I got it, it barely lasted 5 minutes before the thing would go out and make me cool it down. So I was going to return it, but then couldn't find my receipt, so I ended up stuck with it. Because they wouldn't exchange it or do anything. That was a long story. But anyhow, we're gonna go ahead and try to take off as much as we can. And like I said, it just seemed like no matter how many times I would heat it up, it would take a while. And this is one of my favorite pages. It's pretty cool. It was like colors you get from nature. So there's a few pages that I end up putting aside that are my favorites that I definitely want to scan later, and I'll show you those ones a little bit later, the ones that I found, like that one with the colors we get from the plants, which is really cool. Just trying to find the center again. It's a little hard to tell sometimes on these pages because of the way they're cut. You can see usually when I warm up a book like this and try to pull out the pages, I can usually get quite a few pages done after each warm up, but this one really would only let me get one at a time done. So I'm really glad, even though the centers of the pages are cut a little, they seem to be holding up pretty well. So if I want to go ahead and do some folding and stuff like that, making pockets or whatever for books, I'm able to do it no problem with these ones. There were a few pages that ended up damaged, or not really damaged, but basically where I couldn't keep the two sides together. They ended up being a single side page instead, which was fine. Here's another one of my favorite graphics that I saw in here. This is one of the main reasons that I got the book, just so I could get that. I'm gonna frame it and keep it. And then I saw this and I thought this would be a really cute bookmark, but then I saw the other side and I was like, oh darn, no bookmark, and wait till you see this. So this one talks about the screaming plant called a mandrake. Sound familiar? There's the little mandrake, talks about the mandrake. It's really cool. So those got put aside for my favorites. Right, we're just going to finish heating all of this up. We're going to speed through this as much as possible. So you don't have to sit there through all the heating and pulling and heating and pulling. Quick other favorite with a bunch of mushrooms. I think this one would be cute to scan and turn it into a digital stamp. Alright, we pretty much got all the pages, all the signatures pulled apart. Now I'm just flattening them out to get them all ready to take apart even more. So the signatures are all out. Still have to pull up each of the pages from each other, or from the signatures now. We got a nice pile to work with to make it a little easier to now pull the pages from each signature. So all the signatures have been pulled and we're prepped there. This is also where I was trying to figure out what to do, because now my blue heat gun decided to stop on me. So basically I have no heat gun to use at this point, so I was trying to figure out if I was going to be able to go ahead and work from here, which I should, no problem. Now the blue one finally came back on after a little bit, so sorry about that pause. Off enough for me to go ahead and start using it again. Then it does go out for a little bit again. So basically it kept having a pause. I thought that was a cool mushroom. Sequoias. From here it did go a little faster. Again, this is all sped up. Starting to get close to the end. That guy still won't turn on. And that's where the blue one went out again and would not turn on. That one eventually did turn back on after a while, but I ended up having to do most of this without having the heat gun, which made it a little hard. It made it go a little slower. Some cool fossils. And here I had to show you something. This is kind of cute, so I slowed it back down just so you can see this. This was a little interesting and a little creepy at the same time. Leaf scar faces. And these are parts where you pop off a leaf and it leaves a little face on the other side. So this is like a butternut. This one's an ash, and this one's an oak. And then here's another one where it left a little face behind after plucking off a leaf. Right, let's get back to it. We're almost there. we're there. We're on our last set of pages. The pages themselves are not quite matte, not quite shiny, but kind of nice. And there is our last one going out. And again, you can see right there where the holes are. And you can see the little cuts. And that is our last one. All done. Well, all done with that part, I should say. So we're going to go ahead and get together all the double-sided pieces. Just gather them all together to see what we've got. There's a couple of pieces stuck in there that I must have folded at some point instead of leaving open. So we're just going to grab those out. And I'm not worried really what order they are in or anything like that. I like to put them in the books randomly. Sometimes I don't care if they're the same topic or not. This all happens to be pretty close to the same types of topics. That's not a big deal with these ones. I'm just going to gather all those together. Alright, and next we're just going to go through the singles, the little singlies type sheets that are on there. And these are the ones that I sacrificed at the beginning to try to get everything undone. So we're just going to yank those apart. I'll just be cutting off the edges to make them a little straighter later. That's fine. But yeah, so I'm going to cut the edges just to give them a nice finish. So I like them to be a little distressed, but these are just plain ripped. Now I thought was cool, so we can do bookmarks or some sort of like 3-panel fold. That one I'm putting aside. We're finally at the finish line, and I found this really cool one that has like penicillin, all those other things, and all these definitions. So I'm putting that one aside. And there's more on there, so I'll probably end up pulling out some more of those. I think I'm probably going to scan that page as well and make them into small definitions. I think that would be cool. I may make them available on the shop, any of the things that I do scan in, but it might be a little while before I do that. If you are interested, make sure you message me if you'd like them a little sooner, or if you see any part of this book that you would like me to scan and make a digital file. Alright, so that is all our single pieces and our little straggle piece that apparently got cut for something. Just gonna get those all together. Alright, we'll set those aside, and then I'm going to show you the ones that I saved that I thought were really cool that I'm going to probably put or scan. But some of my favorite pieces, again, the ones with the definitions in there. I really love this one. I was still trying to figure it out, and then it took me a minute to figure out that it's just the angle made it look all like dark, even though I think it's just the light playing off a pond or something. This one was really cool with the butterflies and the Venus flytrap. Some pretty flowers. But I'm saving it for the other one. That one's probably going to be framed along with the previous one. That was just because of mushrooms. And then we got our mandrake. Had to save that one. Definitely scanning that one in. So just had some cool things. And then there's that dragon again. Gonna have to scan that one so that way I can make it a bookmark. And that one's definitely going to be scanned in, and that one's actually going to be framed. And then this one's really cool. All the colors that we get from plants. So there you have it. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you come back for more. So if you want to see more, go ahead and like and subscribe. And this is the sample of the book that I am going to put everything in, and as you can see, it's kind of an apothecary type of junk journal that I'm putting together, so this was perfect for that. So like and subscribe. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.